midst of sin, God says he hates you. He hates you because you're in sin. You have to come back and keep God's laws. You have to come back and keep God's laws. Read that one more time. The foolish shall not stand in thy sight. Thou hatest all workers of iniquity. So you have to do God's will. God hates all sinners. So let's see the definition of sin. 1 John 3 and 4. God says he hates sinners. If I ask you what sin is, how many people out here know what a sin is? How many people know what sin is? 1 John 3 and 4. Read.
1 John chapter 3 and verse 4. Whosoever committed sin, transgresseth also the law.
So whoever commits sin is breaking God's laws. Read.
For sin is the transgressions of the law.
So if you're in the midst of sin, you're breaking God's laws. If you're saying the law is done away with, you are very foolish. Read it again.
Whosoever committed sin, transgresseth also the law. For sin is the transgression of the law.
So if you're breaking God's laws, he said he's not going to hear your prayers. He don't hear sinners. Jump up to verse 8.
Verse 8. He that committed sin.
So guess what? If God's laws is done away with, let's see what this says. He that committed sin, he that breaks God's laws, read,
is of the devil.
The doctrine is what?
Of the devil.
Read.
For the devil sinned from the beginning. For this purpose the Son of God was manifest, that he might destroy the works of the devil.
So guess what? We have to keep God's laws, or you are the devil. If you're teaching God's laws is done away with, you're crazy.
That's an excellent point. Give me Deuteronomy 28:28. The brother made a profound statement stating, if you teach God's laws are done away with, you're crazy. You know why our people teach these things? Because we've been stricken with madness.
Bring it out.
Give me Deuteronomy 28:28. I'm Deacon IBL with Israel United in Christ. We're here to teach that you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are God's chosen people. You are the children of Israel. You got that, bro? Read.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 28.
Come on.
The Lord shall smite thee with madness.
With what?
With madness.
Our people are smitten with madness. That's why people are talking crazy. They don't know God. And whenever they see brothers out here teaching this truth and coming with the word, all of a sudden everybody turns into pastors.
Bring it out.
Everybody turns into street ministers. But not even 30 minutes ago, you was buying weed on the block.
Right.
Not even 30 minutes ago, you was down there getting drunk. Read that again.
The Lord shall smite thee with madness, and with blindness and astonishment of heart. And thou shalt grope at noonday, as the blind gropeth in darkness.
As the blind gropeth in darkness. Officer Pablo, please send that brother over. I need to speak to this brother. Hey, brother, let me holler at you real quick, bro. Come talk to me. I'm your brother over here. Let me holler at you, bro. I've overheard the conversation. I want to get a biblical approach. Come over here, bro. I'm your brother. I want Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 9. Brother, because I've been hearing what you're saying, brother. I notice you're kicking against the laws of God, bro. I'm going to show you in the Bible. Now it's done. Now you're done whenever I tell you the truth. Don't be, you kicking, brother. You are doing that. I'm going to show you doing that. You want to hear the Bible? Give me Isaiah 30 and 9. Read that.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 30, verse 9.
Hold on, where's that in the Bible?
He told me just minutes ago.
Brother, you're lying.
He just told me.
The Most High God didn't tell you that, brother.
He's real. He see you right now.
Exactly, and he sees you're lying. Give me, real quick, give me Jeremiah 23. Jeremiah 23 and 1. You got that? Yeah, because, but you won't. I've listened to you, brother. You ain't even speaking nothing that's in the word. No, brother, you walk in the light that Satan got you on. Watch this. Read.
Jeremiah chapter 23 and verse 1. Woe be unto the pastor.
Here's your warning, brother. The Bible says, woe be to the pastors. Read.
That destroyed and scattered the sheep of my pastures.
You out here lying to people talking about God told you something.
Bring it out.
You out here lying saying God said this, God said that. And we're showing you out the Bible what God said. Satan's talking to you, brother. It's time for you to wake up. Read.
Woe be unto you pastors that destroy and scatter his sheep of his pasture.
Real quick, give me 2 Timothy chapter 4, so I can show you God didn't tell you that. 1 Timothy chapter 4, I want the first verse. Get me to the point. You ready? Read.
1 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 7. 2 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 1.
Why is it when this Bible, the word of God that they say they believe in, they take off running? When this Bible comes out, now all of a sudden it's time to leave.
Right, get out.
Your words wasn't peace. Yes, you are. But we're going to show you. You say God said that he said don't have a debate. Don't talk about the word discussion. Read. We know that. Read.
2 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 1. God and the Lord Jesus Christ, whom shall judge the quick and the dead at his appearing and the kingdom. Preach the word.
Do what?
Preach the word.
God said preach the word. Brother, why won't you speak to me? Brother, why won't you come speak to me? Man to man, come talk to me, brother. The Bible just said do what?
Preach the word.
The Bible's commanded you to preach the word. Read.
Be instant in season and out of season.
You're supposed to be ready to preach instant in season and out of season. Ready to give the correction and understanding of the Bible. Brother, whenever they had you up the loudspeaker, you still wasn't hearing. So maybe we need to be a little louder so you can understand. Read that again.
Preach the word. Be instant in season and out of season.
That's what God told you to do. He didn't say not discuss the Bible with people. He said don't discuss the word. It says in the debate, we're teaching you right now. And the Bible tells you to debate your cause. The things that you're saying is not biblical, brother. Give me, matter of fact, give me Sirach 32 and 17. Our people will make excuses not to keep God's laws. Not to do what God said to do. Read.
The book of Sirach, chapter 32 and verse 17. A sinful man will not be reproved, but findeth an excuse according to his will.
You good right there. Read that verse again. I want you to listen.
A sinful man will not be reproved, but findeth an excuse according to his will.
I was just like you. I had every excuse on why not to do what God said to do. We're showing you the laws. Here's an example. You see these men with beards on their face. I see you got a beard. What? You know that's in the Bible that you're supposed to grow a beard? So what? Absolutely. So watch this. So right along that law, give me Numbers 15:38. Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. All praises for that. Now watch this. Numbers 15:38. This is what we're trying to show our people. Our people don't know about these laws. But you just got to tell the brothers we ain't got to do it.
I didn't say you don't have to do it.
So what you say? Correct me.
What I said is impossible. Not to follow all 613.
Right. Okay, hold on. Give me Matthew 5 and 48. Watch this. Okay, so watch this. I'm going to show you that's not true either. I'm going to show you. If I read it out the Bible, you going to believe me? Yes, I do. I keep all 613 laws.
Right.
All 613 laws. When you say, hold on, watch this. When you say all 613, that's kind of an ignorant statement because those are the sacrificial laws as well. Jesus Christ has come. Right. So are we sacrificing?
No, we're not.
Okay, so the rest of the laws you got to do.
Right.
Watch this. Matthew 5:48.
The book of Matthew chapter 5 verse 28.
Come on.
But I say unto you that, I'm sorry, 5 and 48.
Read. I agree.
Be ye therefore perfect.
Now this is Jesus. He said, be ye therefore perfect. Read.
Even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect.
Even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. These pastors have taught us in our culture, yo, we can't do that. It's too hard. It's too hard. That's why Jesus came. Jesus said, be ye therefore perfect. Give me 1 John chapter 2 and verse 3.
Bring it out.
This is what I was trying to get us to do. This isn't a heated debate or discussion. You understand I love you, brother? Okay, so this is why I'm out here.
But you have to protect them.
You told me God said that you're not supposed to debate. I can show you in the Bible. The Bible says debate thy cause with your brother. You my brother. That's why I'm out here to talk to you. I came all the way from Oklahoma to holler at you. All praises, brother. So if you can take that correction, me and you on the same page, and I can rock with you.
But you have to be wrong with when you just said Satan told me to do that.
No. You know what I mean by that? When you say, hold on, I understand. I thought the same thing. But whenever you say anything that's not of God, it's of the devil. So you just said yourself, okay, you corrected me. We can move past that. What if Christ said to Peter, and Peter was like, no, Lord, I ain't going to let them kill you. I'm not going to let them put you to death. He said, get thee hence, keep thee away from me, Satan. Why do you call him that? Because he had the devil on him at that moment. That's how we deal. So whenever I got the devil on me, brother, I need you to let me know. And I'm not going to look at you wrong like, well, you say that. I'm going to say, you know what, that's my brother right there. I was bugging. I was tripping. Watch this real quick. Read that real quick. 1 John 2 and 3.
Book of 1 John chapter 2 and verse 3.
Come on.
And hereby we do know that we know him, if we keep his commandments.
So the Bible says this is how we know that we know him, if we keep his commandments. The stipulation to knowing God, knowing Christ, is keeping the commandments.
Right.
That's what we're trying to get our people to wake up. Imagine what would happen if we came together in God's laws and faith in Christ and banded together as a people. The murdering, the drug sales, killing one another, dealing with each other falsely.
I say that all the time.
That's what we out here preaching, bro.
I say that all the time.
You're supposed to be over here, go watching my back right now, so we can tell everybody the same thing right now. We're supposed to be on the same thing.
We all on the same thing. My path is different from y'all path. See what y'all do? I applaud y'all.
Okay, so
My path and my journey is something totally different.
is it outside of God's laws?
No, it's on the same
Okay, then we on the same page. Watch this, read that.
We're on the same page.
He that said, I know him, and keepeth not his commandments, is a liar.
Because the men that say they know God and don't keep the laws, they lying. Even though in their heart they say, I know God. You can't tell me about my personal relationship. The Bible just said, here's the reality. If you say you know God, but you don't keep the commandments, you're lying. And you lied to us. This was a big pill for me to swallow. I didn't, like, you know about the beard. I didn't know that. I was running out beard shaving. I was out here kicking it in the clubs, doing what everybody else is doing. Until I came to this Bible and realized, you know what, I got to do what it says. Give me Psalms 111 and 10.
Bring it out.
To understand this Bible, young men, you got to keep God's laws.
I grew up in the scripture, not in the church. See,
That's
Daddy taught me.
the church. There's many churches too. See, everybody got a church, but everybody in the scriptures, like you said. Give me that.
I learned the scripture.
Psalms 111 and 10.
Come on.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
Come on.
A good understanding have all they that do his commandments.
So it hit me. When I started keeping God's commandments, I started realizing and understanding this Bible. I had to stop kicking against this Bible, against God's word, and say, you know what? If it says it, I'm going to do it. To hell what everybody else is talking about. I don't care if they don't like it. I don't care if they look at me funny. I don't care if because I got these things on my shirts, folks look at me like it's not fashionable. I'm going to do what God said to do.
Right.
This is why we out here, brother.
That's what I do. I do that every day.
What's your name?
My name is
Toto. Listen, you need to come check us out. We got a school right here in Kansas. Somebody give them a flyer? Is the address on there? You need to come check us out, bro. We out here for our people, because guess what? These mean streets is chewing our people up and spitting them out.
Right.
Our people out here getting killed right now. I can tell. I ain't even been here 2 hours, and I know we in the middle of the hood right now. I can see it. It's time for us to wake up and come together. Everybody has a choice. But you know what? The will that we got to do? Give me that Psalms 40 and 8. This is the will we got to submit to. You got that?
The book of Psalms chapter 40 and verse 8. I delight to do thy will, O my God. Yea, thy law is within my heart.
Yea, God's laws are within my heart. That's the will that we got to subscribe to. All right, brothers, I'm Deacon Abiel. We are Israel United in Christ, here to teach you blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans who we are. I'm going to let the teacher come back and resume his duties.
Hey, give me John 7 and 16. Hey, brother, I want you to hear this right quick. John 7 and 16.
The book of John chapter 7 and verse 16. Jesus answered them and said, my doctrine is not mine.
So Christ said, my doctrine is not mine. Exactly. It comes from the Father, right?
But his that sent me.
But his that sent me. So what is his doctrine? What is his doctrine, though? What is his doctrine? Give me Proverbs 7 and 2, or is it 4 and 2? 7 and 2, 4 and 2. Proverbs 4 and 2. Proverbs 4 and 2. It's the what? Let's see what Christ in the Most High God's doctrine is. Read.
The book of Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 2. I give you good doctrine, forsake ye not my law.
He says, don't forsake my law. You have to keep God's laws. No, let's see what the fulfillment of the law is. Give me Luke 24 verse 44. Let's see what's the fulfillment of the law. We gonna notice what we doing, bro. I want you notice what we doing. When I'm showing you, I'm not giving you my own thoughts and opinions. I'm giving you thus said the Lord. So let's see what Christ fulfilled. Read.
The book of Luke chapter 24 and verse 44. And he said unto them, these are the words which I spake unto you while I was yet with you, that all things must be fulfilled which were written in the law of Moses and in the prophets and in the Psalms concerning me.
So everything that the prophets written in the past is what was supposed to be fulfilled. That was supposed to be fulfilled. Let's see what Isaiah said. Give me Isaiah 53. Isaiah 53. He didn't fulfill the law. It says what the prophets wrote in the past is what he came to fulfill. So everything that was written concerning him. So let's see what was written concerning him in the Old Testament. Isaiah 53, start at verse 3, I think.
Isaiah chapter 53, verse 3. He is despised and rejected of men.
So who was despised and rejected of men? Christ, right? Read.
A man of sorrows and acquainted with grief, and we hid it as our faces from him, and we despised, we esteemed him not. Surely he had borne our griefs and carried our sorrows, yet we did not esteem him stricken, smitten of God, and afflicted. By his wounds we are healed.
By his
what? By his wounds we are healed.
Christ dying on the cross is what he fulfilled. What? Listen, brother, listen. Christ dying on the cross is what he fulfilled.
I don't go to the doctor.
So I'm gonna get into what you was, and I want to make sure I include you too, because I know you had a question as well. All right. So the whole thing we coming out here is to what? Is to get our people to understand who they are according to the Bible, and that they must keep God's laws, statutes, and commandments. Those are the exact reasons why we're in this position now. If you can't understand who you are, and you can't understand that you got to keep His commandments, you won't understand anything else. So now we sit here, we know where we at, right? We on Prospect, right? You know all the things that go up and down in the hood. You see our people, they out in the middle of the day drunk, they've been drinking, they smoked out, all of these things, right? You wonder why are those things happening to our people? Because we see these things. We see these things, right? And we want to know, how can we get our people out of these positions? You know what it comes from? It comes from changing your thinking. It comes from changing who you are as a person. But let's get this in Deuteronomy 28 verse 15. Because you had the question of, how do I know who I really am, right? So now, when we read in Deuteronomy, there was curses that were given unto the Israelites for not keeping God's commandments, right? So let's go over these curses. Matter of fact, give me Deuteronomy 1:1 so we know who it is that Moses is speaking to. Read that for me.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 1 and verse 1.
Go ahead.
These are the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
So it says, these are the words that Moses spake unto all Israel, right? All Israel. So now, what are some of these words that Moses spake unto all Israel? So now let's get to the curses. So you have the curses, right? They're if I can say, they're a good and a bad thing. They're bad because there were punishments, right? But they're also a good thing because they identify who we are as a people. That is what gives us identification, how we know what our nationality is in this world. So it says, if we didn't listen to what God told us to do, that all these curses were going to come upon us and overtake us, right? So now let's take a look at our community. We see that what? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we are the ones in the ghettos. We are the last hired, first fired. We have the highest rate of STDs, AIDS, gonorrhea, all these things. We fill the prison houses, but guess what? It don't happen to the other nations like that. Why is that? Why is it that when you look at us, we don't want to live in these conditions? These other nations aren't living these conditions. These other nations aren't filling the jail cells. These other, check that out, bro. These other nations, right? These other nations are not living these, right? So now, let's read that again. You read all of 15? So now let's get another curse. Deuteronomy 28, let's read verse 31.
Verse 31. Thine ox shall be slain before thy eyes.
I mean 32, I'm sorry.
Verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
So this is the thing. It says that our sons and our daughters as a nation of people, they shall be given unto another people. Who as a nation of people were their sons and their daughters given to other people in slavery? Who did that happen to? Who did that happen to? Us, right? Who did that happen to? Us. It happened to the so-called blacks in 1619, and it happened to the Hispanics and Native Americans in 1492 under Christopher Columbus. So these things happen to us. We must understand who we are as a people. So check this out. But listen to me, right? So now let's get verse, give me verse 40, because I'm going to just touch a few. Because I know these brothers have been here, and I want to make sure I include them as well, all right? So now let me get verse, start at verse 45. Go ahead.
Verse 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed.
So it says, moreover, these curses were going to pursue us and overtake us until we be destroyed. So now when we look at this and we read these curses, we can see that these curses are upon the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. These are the things that are happening to our people. Look at this. This is all prophesied in the Bible. Right here. You have our people being sold into slavery. You have the Arabs. You have the Africans, because we're not Africans. You have the Africans and the Arabs sell us to the Grecians, which is the so-called white man whose name is Esau in the Bible. You see what I mean? This is the history that we haven't been taught, but yet it's in the Bible. Why didn't they let us read or write for over 400 years? Why was that? It wasn't so that it wasn't just made up by osmosis. It wasn't that they just thought of this as something that, oh, it might be fun to do. No, they had a plan to destroy us as a people. Right. They had a plan to keep us down. Out of all, think about it, just sit and look. Out of all the nations in the world, who has been through the things that we have been through? Nobody. Nobody. And why is that? Because we chose not to keep God's laws. Give me Amos chapter 3 verse 1. Let's get that real quick. Amos chapter 3 and verse 1. Because out of all of these things, we got to know that. So as I'm telling you, hey, check out that flyer, bro. So as I'm telling you that we must keep God's laws, right, I'm going to show you those laws. Because it's not just enough to tell you that we broke God's laws. I got to show you the laws that you're breaking so that you can get out of this situation. Read that for me.
Book of Amos chapter 3 and verse 1.
Go ahead.
Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel.
Right, he said, hear this word that the Lord spoke against the children of Israel. Not everybody else. Read.
Against the whole family, which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying,
right,
you only have I known of all the families of the earth.
He said, you only have I known out of all the families of the earth. That's why we're being punished. Well, keep reading. He's going to say that. Go ahead.
Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities.
And that's why we're getting punished for all our iniquities. You want to know why crime is so rampant in our neighborhoods? You want to know why it is we sell drugs to each other on a daily basis? Why it is that we kill each other constantly? Why we tear each other down? Why we fight each other? Why we're destroyed, drunk in the middle of the day, and have no understanding of who we are? It's because we chose not to keep God's laws. Now check this out. Come closer, bro.
Bring it out.
So this is real love, according to the Bible. A lot of your pastors say that they love their people, that they doing God's work, but do you see them out here trying to reach the masses of the people? Do you see them out here every day in the highways and byways trying to compel the people to come in like the scriptures say? No, they don't do that. This is our job. This is real love. Because I don't want the damnation for not keeping God's laws is death. That's what it is. As a brother, I love you. I don't want to see you going to that. My job is to give you God's law so that you repent. Because I don't want to see you fall into that. Paul said, my prayer is that all Israel might be saved. Right. But guess what? The prophecy is only 1/3 of our people are going to make it. The other 2/3 are going to die. That's facts. That's biblical facts. So now you have to make up in your mind which it is that you're going to do, right? So now, this is a Sabbath day. For example, like I said, I'm going to give you these curses. Matter of fact, yeah, I'm going to give you that one. I have to show you what laws you're breaking so that you can get out of the position that you're in now. If you don't know what laws you're breaking, you can never come back to the true understanding of this Bible or the true understanding of the Most High God. So it's our job to show you what it is that you're breaking. For example, your parents or your grandparents or whatever it may be, friends, family, if they really love you, right? If you put your hand on a hot stove, if they love you, are they going to let you keep your hand on that hot stove? No, they're going to tell you to take it off. Why? Because they don't want to see you hurt. This is the same job this is the same thing that we're doing right now. Read what you got. Exodus chapter 20 and verse 8. Read that.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Right, it says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Hey, if you want to know more, just park in the library and come talk to us. Park in the library and come talk to us. So it says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. From Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, that is the Sabbath according to the Most High God. We were supposed to remember it and keep it holy. Read.
6 days shall thou labor and do all thy work.
So it says 6 days shall we labor and do all our work. The Sabbath is supposed to be a day of rest. There's supposed to be no working, no cooking, no buying, no selling, This was a law that God had given us to follow. But guess what? We as a people, as the brother was here before, he said, oh, that's impossible. You got to do this. You got to do that. No, God ain't going to give us nothing that we can't do. Matter of fact, give me Deuteronomy 7 and 6. If you understand who you are as a people, you understand that we're the greatest thing that ever set foot upon this earth. God didn't give us anything impossible. He made this world for our sakes. So when he gave us these laws, these are things that we can keep. Read that for me.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God.
Right.
The Lord thy God has chosen thee to be a special people.
He said God chose you to be a special people. That's not what's being taught throughout our communities. You know what's being taught in our communities? That you just a nigga. Right. That you'll never amount to nothing. The only way that you can make it in life is if you be an entertainer or a drug dealer, or if you assimilate yourself into the society. That's what's being taught to us as a people. Guess what? These other nations don't think like that, because guess what they do? When they come in here to America, what do? They set up shops in our neighborhood, and they build their own communities and send money back to their countries. Why don't we do that? Because we have been destroyed. We don't realize how great we are. Read that again.
For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. Right. The Lord thy God has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself. Right. Above all people.
It said above all people. Read.
That upon the face of the earth.
That is upon the face of the earth. Now you can start to get a realization or an understanding why God dealt with us the way he did. He made us above all people upon the face of this earth. But what we decided to do, we decided to make ourselves like the dogs. We decided to follow the people that God said was nothing. That's why he's dealing with us the way he is now. That's why he's upset with us.
Shalom, Israel. I'm Elder Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. YouTube likes to shut our channels down, as some of you have noticed, ever so often. Subscribing to join IUIC will assure you will always stay connected to our YouTube accounts. We want to do our best to make sure this truth gets out. Please click and join our subscriber YouTube channel called Join IUIC to stay linked to all of our videos. So again, please make sure you subscribe to this Join IUIC channel to get your latest updates from all our YouTube channels. Shalom.